Righteous mothers. If you look to the right column before we even get into the notes, it says, behind every great man stands a woman. I want to, and I've done this since I've began teaching this course, I want to make it very clear that I didn't write that. I wrote next to, and I have proof because it's on my notes, okay? Next to every great man stands a woman. Why? Because we're talking about righteous mothers who raised their children to be great men, as we're going to look at right now. But who did that? Who pushed them to do it? Who gave them that drive? All right? And so the editor, who's a female, okay, she changed it. And she said, no, the correct statement is, behind every great man stands a woman. I said, that's your opinion, we're going to leave it at that, but I'm going to make sure that I correct it every single time I teach the course. So the correction that I want to make clear to you is that I wrote down, next to every great man stands a woman. Okay? Khalas, let's move on. Children, are they a blessing or are they a curse? Undoubtedly, children are a source of great joy and delight. They make life sweet, bring more rizq into a family's life, which is provisions. They give hope. And a father sees children as a future source of help and support, as well as representing an increase in numbers and perpetuation of his lineage. A mother sees her children as a source of hopefulness, consolation, and joy in life, and as hope for the future. And sadly, sometimes fathers, we don't spend enough time with our children simply because we're busy at work, out about, trying to earn, etc. However, when their education and upbringing is neglected, they will develop bad characters, becoming a burden on their families, communities, and even society as a whole. Okay, we do see that families sometimes, subhanAllah, they put their children in front of an iPad and they just leave them there. And so we ask ourselves, are these children actually a blessing to the parents, or do they consider these children a curse to them? And I remember traveling the world, and in certain countries you go to, walking into a restaurant, you see a family, mother, father, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 children, sometimes sitting at a table. Every single one of them has a digital device in front of them where they're watching either YouTube or watching some videos, or they're on Facebook, or they're playing some game app, right, on their phone. So subhanAllah, it's really interesting how when you look at society, or we look at society, we find that a lot of the time, especially in our time where we're becoming more modernized, we should say, we ask ourselves, are these children we are having a blessing or a curse? And the discussion that we had when we were in Melbourne was that sometimes, especially in our present day society, we find that young couples, they don't really want children anymore. They don't want children because they don't have time. It takes away from their time, it takes away from their money. Why waste our time with our children? Why not spend our time with our nieces and nephews? We could treat them, we could buy them gifts, and at the end of the day we go home and we sleep in peace. No diapers to change, no child yelling and screaming and crying, no food to cook in the morning, no pick you up after school, take them here, etc. And so times are changing. Let's look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says with regards to children. Children are from the bounties of life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al-mal, wealth, wa banun. Now, wealth can be various things. It could be property, it could be a car, it could be, things that you have, provisions of some sort. Wealth, al-mal, wal-banun, zinatul hayatid dunya. They are from the blessings of this world, the things that He beautified this world with for us.